Well, let's go to our panel for their analysis. I'm joined by former Labor Senator Stephen Conroy and One Nation Chief of Staff James Ashby. Stephen, you once described Dan Andrews as one of the greats. I think that was when he resigned as Premier last September. Does he deserve this King's Birthday honour?
Look, I hope you're strapped in because you're not going to enjoy my next contribution. Jeff, I know Jeff well. I played golf with Jeff. If we bumped into each other, we'd have a cup of tea. But the Sydney media bubble, frankly, are morons. You know nothing about Melbourne. Get back in your box. Queensland government re-elected. Victorian government re-elected with a record majority. Western Australian government re-elected with a record majority. You represent nobody. No one cares about your views out there in broader Australia. This sort of pathetic attack on the Awards Secretariat is just mind-blowing. Jeff, that was just a pathetic dummy spit, OK? I'm terribly sorry. And just before you get excited, Daniel Andrews is not a factional friend of mine or a personal friend of mine. In fact, I wouldn't have spoken to Daniel Andrews more than twice in 10 years. Not a friend of mine at all. But this sort of pathetic Sydney media bubble. You were wrong about COVID. You were wrong about how to deal with COVID. Suck it up, princesses. Every Labor government got re-elected. And this is a continuation of your pathetic media bubble, which the good news for Labor was you helped deliver, your attitude helped deliver federal Labor victory. 4 seats in Western Australia because the Sydney media bubble kept attacking the Western Australian government. Thank you, you pack of morons, the Sydney media bubble, because you gave Labor victory in its own right in the last election.
Well, Stephen, there's no doubt that Dan Andrews kept winning elections, but eminent services to public health, really?
Yes, I repeat. Sydney media bubble hysteria. I call it much worse, except this is a family viewing time, OK? You're just wrong. You could not be more wrong. Australia had to have a tough response. And just in case you didn't notice, but the federal Liberal government created a completely fictitious organisation called the National Cabinet, tried to pretend that it had to have national secrecy, all its own work. The federal government outspent every other state government totally, bankrupted the country. We've got to come in and, as usual, clean up the mess. So if you want to try and pretend that he didn't do the right thing on health, well, perhaps any one of the other premiers or the Prime Minister, Liberal Party, might have mentioned it at the time. They followed the health advice. It was hard in Victoria. You didn't live here. James, sorry, you didn't live here either. You were all enjoying your time up in Queensland, having no COVID at all. Good luck to you. We were locked down. I was locked down. Did I enjoy it? No. But did we do it knowing that it was on the best health advice at the time so that we could ensure that we protected the elderly when they needed it the most and that we had to do it tough to make sure
Stephen, I've got to bring
vaccines in.
I've got to bring James
happy to let someone else have a go.
I've got to bring James Ashby at this point.
James, like another spray.